This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Delta Leaf Labs. Because when you're growing cannabis, you need to save as much time and resources as you can. You can find out 4 times faster whether you're dealing with a male or a female plant when you use the plant DNA sex testing kit from Delta Leaf Labs. And it's not that expensive. It's only $10 per plant. And when you use coupon code IMGS10 at checkout, you get 10% off. So go over to deltaleaflabs.com and order your plant testing kits today. Also, the good folks at 101cbd.org want to invite you to the Raw CBD Festival. That is going to be happening Saturday, June 29th at Pier Shoals Beach in Ventura, California from noon to 5. They want you to come on and enjoy a day of fun, free CBD, hemp shakes, music, laughter, waves, food, and refreshments. Now, dogs are going to be the featured guest at this because there will be free samples of bacon CBD oil just in time for the 4th of July. Because some dogs don't do really well with fireworks, and the hope is that the CBD oil will help calm them down a little more. So don't forget, come out to Pier Shoals Beach in Ventura from noon to 5, June 29th, for the Raw CBD Festival. Alright, now let's start the show. Greetings again, everybody, and welcome to the In My Grow Show, the podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of cannabis. I'm your host, Alex, and I want to thank you again for taking the time to listen to me. I really appreciate it. Now, today's show is going to have kind of a CBD theme, because I am going to be talking about this bullshit article that I read in Forbes magazine about CBD, not just CBD, but Epidiolex. That's the pharmaceutical CBD product that was put out for, I believe, epilepsy patients for kids. But anyways, I'll talk about that a little later. Also, I'm going to have a conversation that I recorded again with my buddy Justin from 101cbd.org. Came back on and we, talked about a bunch of different things. But that's a little later. Right now, I just want to mention that I did put out the first Spanish episode of a new podcast that I'm putting out, which is basically the In My Grow Show, but in Spanish. And it is called Mi Cultivo. And if you know me, you know this is something I've been talking about for a while now. Probably for about a good 4 to 5 months. So I finally did it, recorded it, put it together. There's still some stuff I have to do for that actual show. I'm debating on whether it needs its own website, but I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out. Originally, it was supposed to be about the endocannabinoid system, but I realized that I can speak conversational Spanish pretty well. I can really, I can get down, right? But once I started trying to talk scientifically about the endocannabinoid system, I realized it's a lot harder than I imagined. So me and my buddy Juan decided that instead of doing the endocannabinoid system, we just had a conversation about the different stigmas that we've seen in the Spanish-speaking culture. So if you speak Spanish, or if you have relatives who are older that only speak Spanish and you want to start the conversation about cannabis, go over there. Just go to my website, inmygrow.com, and you'll see the title for the Spanish first episode of Mi Cultivo, and take a listen to it. And if you get a chance, send me an email about what you thought about it. I'd really appreciate the feedback. Alright, let's move on to the strain of the week. And today, I'm going to give it up to this flower that I found called the Snowman. And it was a beautiful bud, just filled with trichomes, real frosty looking. It looked velvety. It looked so great. And this is a sativa dominant strain, about at 70-30. Now, the internet says that it is a phenotype of the Girl Scout cookie. Now, the Snowman, since it is a sativa, it's a good daytime flower. It is kind of heavy, though. I don't know how much work I could actually get done, but I seem to be working pretty good on it, right? I seem to be okay now. I'm not that high, or I should say I'm stoned, not high. There's a difference. Alright, but anyways, back to the Snowman. Pick some up if you see some, and share it with a friend. They'd love it. Next, I want to make a quick announcement about something going on that's very local, and that is the Lompoc Cannabis Industry Mixer. That'll be happening Wednesday, June 26th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Hangar 7 in Lompoc. Tickets are $20. You can get them at bit.ly/cannabrew. That is bit.ly/cannabrew. Seating is limited, so get your tickets while you can. And this is put together by the Lompoc Valley Cannabis Association and the 805 Cannabis Society. Alright, now let's move on to the report from the Cannabis Frontline. Now first is something I found over at the Normal website, that is normal.org. And the title of the article is Cannabis Safe and Effective in Fibromyalgia Patients. And this was put together by Paul Armentano, Normal's Deputy Director. And it starts out, the administration of herbal cannabis is safe and effective in patients diagnosed with fibromyalgia, according to clinical data published this month in the Journal of Clinical Medicine. Israeli investigators assessed the use of cannabis over a 6-month period in 211 patients with the disease. 81% of subjects reported at least moderate improvement in their condition without experiencing serious adverse events. Patients were most likely to report overall reduction in pain and overall improvement in the quality of life following cannabis therapy. 21% of patients stopped or reduced their use of opioids, and 20% reduced their use of benzodiazepines, findings that are consistent with those of other studies. In the present study, we demonstrated that medical cannabis is an effective and safe option for treatment of fibromyalgia patient symptoms, considering the low rates of addiction and serious adverse effects, especially compared to opioids. Cannabis therapy should be considered to ease the symptom burdens among those fibromyalgia patients who are not responding to standard care. I think that's awesome to hear, man, because if you've known anybody who suffers from fibromyalgia, it's a hard condition to live with, man, to find any kind of comfort and pain relief. So when I read this kind of scientific background, of human studies of this actually helping, I think that's great. Now, next, I want to talk about, as I said earlier, this article that I read, basically a hit piece that I read in Forbes magazine about CBD. And the title of the article reads, Marijuana Study Finds CBD Can Cause Liver Damage. And it was put together by Mike Adams. Like I was saying, this is a total hit piece because it's not really talking about CBD. It's talking about Epidiolex, which is the pharmaceutical version of CBD that was put out there to help epilepsy patients. And they did this research on mice using some crazy amount of Epidiolex. And it turns out that when they use that much Epidiolex, it causes liver toxicity, hepatotoxicity. But the article was written in a way that instead of really saying that Epidiolex was what they used, they just substituted it in a lot of places and just put CBD oil. And the article mentions that, the study was put up in the journal Molecules. And if I click on that study, I can tell that the author just cherry-picked the information. Because when you read the details in the study, it says that some mice were given something like almost 2.5 milligrams per kilogram of Epidiolex. And that at that amount, it caused the mice to have liver damage, to have liver failure and die within 24 hours. Okay, so let's put that in perspective. They were basically giving these mice, at the high side, 2.4 grams of Epidiolex per kilogram. That was the equivalent. So I did the math. I'm 165 pounds. If they were giving me 2.4 grams of Epidiolex per kilogram, that means I'd be given 192 grams of Epidiolex, not of CBD oil, okay, because they didn't use CBD oil of any kind except this pharmaceutical grade, this pharmaceutical made CBD oil, which is a single molecule and has quite a few side effects, but that's, I'm not going to get into that part of it. So like I was saying, if they give me 2.4 grams per kilogram, I'd be taking 192 grams of Epidiolex. So let me put it in different terms. They would be giving me a cup and a half of Epidiolex every day at that rate. Now, a cup and a half of any kind of thing is probably not good for me. Now you're going to give me a cup and a half of this pharmaceutical that has side effects? So yeah, that article's filled with all kinds of just stuff that's wrong. Because pure CBD oil actually helps liver enzymes, And after I had time to think about what I read in that article, I started to wonder the reasoning behind why the pharmaceutical company would write an article like that. Is it because they know that what they made isn't perfect or good or even anywhere close to actual CBD oil, that they have to try and put a black eye to the whole industry? I don't know. There's a link to that article in the show notes, and in that article there's also a link to the journal Molecule report that they did. So go over there and read it, check it out. Send me an email about what you think, inmygrow@gmail.com, or find me on Facebook at inmygrow. Now, as I said earlier, I'm going to play a conversation that I recorded with Justin from 101cbd.org. We got together again and had another awesome conversation about CBD. I love sitting down and talking to that guy, man. He's just a great person to hang out with. So hang tight. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and then I'm going to put that on for you. Well, everybody, once again, I've got Justin Benton with me from 101cbd.org. He was nice enough to take some time to help explain a little more about CBD and everything else that goes along with that. Justin, welcome back to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Now, excuse me, I'm glad we could get this done. I'm glad we could get together because you just got back from an extraction convention down in San Diego.
Absolutely.
What'd you see? What's the latest and greatest out there?
Well, as you can see, we're sitting in my conference room here. I have a terpene chart from Terpenes and Testings magazine and Extraction magazine. They were the companies that put it on. And it was wild. It was down at the Palo Casino, kind of down by Temecula, San Diego area. And it was the first ever extraction conference in the world. And we had people from Jamaica and Canada and Latin America. And we ran into some brilliant people down there, doctors, researchers, students. There was some scholarship, grants, all kinds of amazing people that we ran into. And they educated us, and we educated them a little bit on some of our things that we found through our research and experience with CBD and true, full spectrum. So it was really cool. We made some great connections. We look forward to sharing a lot on our blogs and our website about some of the specific things we found about the extraction process. We're all learning at the speed of light, and we're trying to get all the information, all the accurate information out there at once. So we're looking at doing, weekly webinars or monthly masterminds, potential a summit, just to collect all these great minds, so we can just educate the world on this plant and all the research that we're doing, so we can all learn at the same time and really understand how best we can incorporate the cannabis plant back into our lives again, now that it's becoming more and more legal in all forms. And it was a really, really a cool experience. So
this chart up here, it's got 20 terpenes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of these terpenes inside hemp or cannabis, or these are just the different
this is
ones out there in the world?
There's actually a little over 200, I want to say 210 terpenes in the cannabis plant. So the cannabis plant, depending upon the breed or the strain or the cultivar, however you say it, it will have higher levels of, myrcene, like you see here we were talking about earlier, or camphor. And really what we've noticed, and they're starting to hear from research and feedback, is that, cannabis is, again, a part of that entourage effect. So when you're consuming the cannabis plant, you need to make sure that what you're consuming has terpenes in it, because we're seeing that it has a bit of a delivery system. So if you have something that has more of those lavender type oil terpenes, that smell, it has that calming essential oil sense on us. And so we're seeing that, as we were talking about earlier, some of the characteristics or the terpenes actually can have more of an effect of, even if it's a sativa or an indica. So it's just, these are, and we test, and I know we can talk a little bit here later on about our latest test on our products for our terpenes. But, terpenes, the 200 terpenes, and then, obviously the 113 cannabinoids and all the other constituents within the plant, the omega-3s, the fatty acids, the magnesium. Again, that's what we believe in here, is keeping it all together, all preserved. And we're going to continue to learn more and grow specific plants for specific issues, whether it's sleep or anxiety or pain, or what have you. Even some of the bigger ones out there, the bigger diseases like the cancers and whatnot, we're seeing some, and working with some doctors and researchers that are finding out a way of putting the certain cannabinoids together that are actually showing in test results of, shrinking or killing tumor cells. So
I know you're a raw CBD guy. How is decarboxylated CBD raw different than the raw? How does that affect our bodies differently?
So good question. So I would estimate, based on all the conferences and things that I attend, about 95% of the industry really focuses or even is aware of, it's just a decarb world. CBD is the decarboxylated version of CBDA.
Right.
So what we have seen in our research that at the minimum, bare minimum, CBDA is 4 times more effective than CBD, because when you take CBDA, our body decarboxylates it into CBD. Instead of turning what originally, when it's CBDA, it's a 3-dimensional object with multiple points that hits the receptors in multiple ways and sticks. When you take a product and burn it, you've turned it from a 3-dimensional ball into a 2-dimensional plane. And that plane, that CBD as a 2-dimensional, it kind of skips and touches briefly with the receptor and doesn't stick long term. That's why we're seeing these long-term type healing effects of the CBDA along with all of the other cannabinoids, the other 112 there. And that's the biggest difference that we've seen. And again, it makes sense. And, when you shop at the farmer's market or any other plant or vegetable that we take, when you keep the live enzymes, when you keep the plant in its truest form and consume it just like we normally would by eating it, that's the best way to consume anything when it comes to keeping the plant in true, holistic, full spectrum.
Oh, so does that mean that the bell curve of effectiveness is a lot longer with the CBDA?
Correct. And so what you're going to see with the length of how the CBD lasts in your particular, when you're taking it, the body's naturally knowing what to do with it and decarboxylating the CBDA and sending it based on some of the terpenes of where it needs to go to, provide most relief. Our bodies also have its own priority schedule, innately within us. Some of us take CBD or cannabis for specific reasons, but once those cannabinoids get into our, endocannabinoid system, which naturally receives them, it looks for the priority. So sometimes it's like, oh, my back hurts, but it's like, hey, my kidneys aren't functioning exactly the way they need to. So let's get that kidney level functioning first before we start worrying about that back pain. So that's why we'll see people, notice like, well, after taking it for 2 or 3 weeks, I really noticed that my back pain has gone down, but I also noticed, man, I'm really sleeping better, or, I feel a lot more mellow. So again, just keeping the plant the way it's meant to be and letting it do its job is what we've seen worked and makes most sense to us as well.
Now, about a week ago, I heard you on Hemp Barons. And I know we've talked about this before, but I don't think we've talked about it on the show. And now you give away some of your product to kids with seizure disorders?
We give away our product. Again, our story, briefly, if you don't know, is our son was diagnosed on the spectrum. Some call it autism. And it was the glue of what got him officially off the spectrum, is diagnosis. And raw CBD, he drinks it with his raw kale juice and his raw carrot juice and his probiotics, and just making sure that he's getting all the raw characteristics that because our bodies want to heal, our bodies want to be healthy, and as long as we give him enough, sometimes a little extra of what it needs, it'll get there. But so because of raw CBD and, just healthy eating, lots of water, we also, for him, had to eliminate gluten and dairy. That's what really helped him. We've seen it. We could see it, long-term effects and short-term effects. So with that being said, we would, anybody that comes to us with a child that's on the spectrum, we give away a free bottle. We also partnered with Autism Hope Alliance, who does the same thing on a national level. And so they attract families, or people find them on the internet. They're the number one social media presence for autism, and they give out packets, little gift baskets once a quarter. And so we're a part of that program of giving away our product to families that have recently been diagnosed with autism. So we do that. We also do a lot with just we offer 50% off for, big complicated ailments or disorders. Obviously your cancers, your Alzheimer's, your Parkinson's, dementia, even fibromyalgia, neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis. My accountants probably should cover their ears because they don't like it when I do this. But you know what? I don't really care about what they think. What I care about is we know what this plant's done for our family. We know what it can do for so many others. And ideally, we just want to educate the world. So if you can grow it in your backyard, make your own juice and mix green salad out of it, great. If you don't live in a part of the country or part of the world where you can grow it, obviously we ship all over the world and all over the country, and we'll give you a little concentrate bottle. And, we want to make sure that people try this on for size and have their own experience, have their own story, and see if it helps their lives the way it's helped our families' lives.
Dude, that's really cool, man. That's I mean, I don't have a kid that has any kind of ailment like that, but I appreciate that you guys are doing something like that, man.
You bet. We're paying it forward. It helped us. We found it 5 years ago, and it helped our son immensely, obviously. And now our job is to educate the world, heal the world, and be a part of the healing process so people can really see what this plant can do for them.
Right on, man. Hey, so help me understand something. In the news a lot, we've heard about CBD and the FDA coming down on adding CBD to food products. Mm-hmm. Not just human food, but pet food also. And at the same time, California's doesn't seem like it's going to listen to the FDA. They're just going to move forward and allowing businesses to do that, to just put CBD into food products. I mean, how does that work exactly?
So there is, we're a part of the California Hemp Council. We meet next week. And, Patrick Goggin with Hoban Law is one of the founding members, along with Politico and some of the leaders. And, we get together and we're meeting next June 12th. It's californiahempcouncil.org. And what we're meeting about is a bill. One of the bills is AB 228. It's a state bill that is going to once and for all clear up all the confusion about hemp-derived CBD in food products. And what the bill will state, clearly right now it just got out of appropriations. It had a 61-0 vote.
Wow.
And then it looks like, I just got an email from the committee yesterday that it looks like we're going to, there's just going to be a rule on there that it's going to get out of the next, process, just basically saying you can't make any crazy health claims on it, which is in line with what we should be doing because that's just the way it is. And so it looks like this is going to pass. It has an urgency clause, meaning that once it passes, it basically goes into effect immediately. So all the confusion about CBD, hemp-derived CBD in food products in the state of California, fingers and toes crossed, when this bill passes will be completely alleviated and it won't be an issue anymore. Once we do that again, because California, look, we lead the country. We are the beacon of light. We are the progressive, ones that, push forward. And there's a reason why this bill, was necessary. It's because California was targeted, I believe, and I'm sure others will agree, by Big Pharma, because they said, look, if we can get California to set the precedence that we can't put hemp CBD in food products or what have you, then the rest of the country will fall suit. However, if we win in supporting organizations like, California Hemp Council, then we also get to set the precedence for the rest of the country to follow and say, look, hemp is as legal as corn and soybeans and the apples you bought at the supermarket. In fact, we have to do more rigorous testing through the USDA than anything you're going to be consuming at your local supermarket. And, once we push through these barriers and make it very clear that hemp is completely legal, as the Farm Bill of 2018 clearly defined, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, as far as the dogs have a little bit different track, and we're keeping our eyes on that. But remember, the FDA is really just about marketing. You've never seen a movie where the FDA comes in with their jackets on and it says FDA on the back. They are a federal drug. They are looking at the particular marketing. So again, making crazy health claims. We've seen some of those wild, health supplements or diet supplements in the past. They just want to make sure that the public isn't being, hoodwinked.
Duped.
Yeah. And so that's what they're for. And the FDA really, they're going to have their pharmaceutical lane. And there's going to be a natural food supplement lane, by all indications. Even GW Pharma testified in the FDA public hearing on May 31st to the same thing. So it's all going to work out as far as I can tell, which is amazing, So
in that bill, are they putting limits? Are there set limits for how much CBD can be put in a product?
Not at this point. Again, because CBD doesn't have an LD50, meaning you could take enough to potentially die. There isn't any real need to put it on.
Before we go forward, what's an LD50?
LD50 is just a term that means that's how you measure how much of a particular, constituent that it would take you to die, right? So water has an LD50. Sugar has an LD50. Pharmaceutical drugs have an LD50. Cannabis doesn't. Our endocannabinoid systems actually have mechanisms to flush out cannabinoids if there's too much. So, however, dogs don't. So keep that in mind. You don't want to get your dog high.
We learned that.
Yeah. And so, but anywho, it doesn't have an LD50. We were actually at that extraction conference, and one of this gentleman from another country, I don't remember where, he was kind of hell-bent on that LD50, and then he kind of got put in his place. He goes, I can't find an LD50 anywhere on this CBD or anywhere. And then all these experts and doctors with 8 different degrees all said, my man, there's no LD, there's a reason you can't find it because there isn't one.
Wow.
So, but no, it's all going to get worked. It's all going to get worked out. We're very confident with our lawyers, and please, we need your support. Continue to educate, go to California Hemp Council, go to our website, look at our blogs. We need to continue to educate our friends and our family about all the stigma and just look, this plant, and we have a DNA match to it. Let's continue to research it. Let's keep a positive attitude, and let's have our own stories.
So if it passes in California, so I'm imagining like CBD burgers out there.
Well, there is one.
No, I know. I saw. Denver. I did. I saw that for 420, but that's what I'm imagining, though.
Sure.
It's fucking.
Yep.
The fun marketing that we're gonna have.
There is, and again, I mean, people are gonna. It's gonna be in Coke. Coke's already died.
I was wondering, that's why I was wondering if there were limits on it, because I mean, if there aren't any limits, I mean, so if someone can just slap on the smallest amount of CBD and say, hey, check it out, it's therapeutic.
Yeah, I mean, and we're hopefully, and there's organizations, and the USDA is going to be in control. FDA is going to be more in control of the pharmaceutical lane, but and that's not a lane where 101 CBD is ever going to be. But they'll do their things with their FDA tests, and they passed Epidiolex, which is a GW Pharma prescription pill for single molecule CBD synthetic isolate, all that stuff, but 39% effective is what the studies we've seen. Whereas with ours, the effectiveness...
39% effective?
Yeah, where ours ranks around 95%.
What's that, a third?
Yeah.
Just about?
Well, they figured out how to get side effects on CBD because it's single molecule. Because that's what Big Pharma can figure out.
Do they really have side effects?
They had to do tests, and a lot of it was like irritable stomach or what have you. But even them, they can figure out how to get side effects on a plant because that's what Big Pharma is good at doing, as we've all seen the commercials.
Let's reinvent the wheel.
So...
Hey, now, everybody in California who's in the cannabis industry knows that cannabis is heavily tested. Mm-hmm. Just because of the THC, for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
Is the CBD tested just as rigorously as tough?
So it's not required as of yet. So the USDA just passed the California hemp farming abilities by taking applications last month. Which we can talk about later. So the USDA is going to be in control of all that. The Farm Bill just passed December 2018. Mm-hmm. It's the big government. As some of you probably saw, the TSA just came out and said it's okay to travel with hemp CBD. So we got to give the big government time to catch up. And eventually they're going to get there. There's going to be some FDA oversight, as far as like GMP, where you manufacture it and making sure you're doing it. Eventually it's going to be looked at like any other natural supplement or food additive, that you're just going to have to do it in a safe place, general manufacturing practices and, or good manufacturing practices. And that's just going to be what we're going to have to do. So we test ahead just because we want full transparency. We want people to educate themselves. We want people to know what they're buying. We want people to, because there's a lot of confusion. Obviously, the internet is kind of the wild, wild west. And without a COA,
which is a certificate of analysis.
Correct. And without that third-party lab test results. I mean, actually, we use CannaSafe, who is, I think, the biggest in Southern California testing facility. They have rigorous things for cannabis, THC. It's all cannabis, but for the THC side of the thing. And we basically take the same tests.
But is it required, though, by whatever governing body as far as like to test for all the heavy metals and pesticides and water content?
Yet. It's not required, but it will be eventually. We do it anyways just because obviously we want to make sure our product is 1,000%, above board, and we wouldn't want to put anything out there that wasn't 1,000%, passing every test with flying colors.
And now the difference between, let's say the difference between hemp-derived CBD and the CBD that people in California or in other
Washington,
states, any state that has a medical program or even recreational program for cannabis. The CBD that they get in those dispensaries, the difference mostly and why it's tested so heavily is because it has that higher percentage rate of THC, correct?
Correct. I mean, THC is really, it's essentially the only cannabinoid of the 113 that, when heated up, decarboxylated, it becomes a psychoactive. So that's what we just really have to monitor. Some people's threshold is, there's, studies out there that we talked about at the Extraction Conference. The level of sensitivity each human can have when it comes to THC or the cannabinoids is 1 to 200, meaning someone could take a 5 milligram dose of THC and have 1,000 milligram experience. So we have to be those people are lucky or not so lucky, depending on how you look at it. So
that first time must be a
yes. And we've all heard the stories. Trust me, we've heard it. And the cool thing is CBD can help calming down some of those.
I want to go over that later. We'll go over that here.
But anywho, so, we do all the testing. We just want to make sure everyone knows what's in our product. We want to make sure that, we want to set a good example for other companies too, because there's a lot of excitement and there's a lot more companies coming in, which is great. We want to educate, and if we're someone that other people are saying, hey, we want to do it like 101 CBD does it, keep the plant CBD as it was meant to be, then great. You know what I mean? We would love to be that influence on people. We don't view this as a competitive market. We're in here for education. We're in here to heal the world. And, whatever kind of capital that takes, we just reinvest in expanding the company and growing education.
Well, and I wonder, like the products that we're going to start to see at CVS and all of these other just grocery stores, because I can only imagine
24-hour fitness.
Yeah, it just anywhere. I mean, I wonder if they're going to be doing just the basic level of testing.
So the good news is this is all going to be hashed out, hopefully, no pun intended, by the end of the year, beginning early of next year. The rules are going to be in place for CBD, for hemp CBD, right? So that's why we're working on bills like AB 228 state bill here in California. So everything is black and white. You're going to need to do the testing. You're going to need to make sure you're in a GMP facility when you're manufacturing. You're going to need to make sure you have SOPs, standard operating procedures. You're just going to have to be doing everything the way you would be doing anything. And it's just so new. We haven't got all of the code out there yet as far as how we're supposed to do this. We work with Hoban Law Group. They work with all the cannabis companies. They help write the laws that we know of now for hemp CBD, and we follow their lead. They're in communications with the FDA. They're in communications with the USDA. They're in communications, with all of the institutions out there, and they just tell us, hey, this is coming. So make sure you got this, and this. And so we do it. We stay ahead of the curve, and we make sure that we're doing everything above board. So in case a knock comes or a letter comes in the mail, we're like, oh, cool, come check out our GMP certification. Or cool, come check out our facility. Or cool, here's our lab tested results. We're prepared, and we're also being a good example for others.
Now, all right, speaking of lab test results, I want to talk a little bit about the COA, the certificate of analysis that's up on your website, but mostly just so people can understand if they read anyone's COA, that they kind of get a better idea of what they're looking at or what they want to see.
Okay. So the biggest thing most people are concerned about or focused on is the cannabinoids.
Right, and that's the little Delta 9, that's a Triangle 9, THC.
So that's the psychoactive part. So when you're doing a extraction process, we actually do a 3-tiered extraction process. So we don't just hit it with CO2, or we don't just hit it with there's hydro or water, and then there's also sonification and other types of ultrasonic ways that some people call it nanotechnology, but again, what we're finding is, and we've worked with doctors and researchers to really understand why we go to extraction conferences, is how do we keep this plant exactly in its purest form, and in a way that people can consume it in that manner. So again, with us, we're really focused on the CBDA, right? That's the raw cannabinoid of hemp cannabis. And when you keep it raw, the studies are coming out, the long-term healing benefits, like we've talked about, the 3-dimensional molecular structure. That's really our focus, and keeping everything else in the raw form too. So CBGA, CBCA, THCA is fantastic cannabinoid, but that's not psychoactive, like we've talked about before. If you ate raw cannabis with high THC levels, you wouldn't get high. It's only the fact that when you burn it, that burns off that acidic precursor, which makes it become a psychoactive. So anyways, back to the cannabinoids. CBDA, as you can see in ours, is predominantly CBDA. I believe it's around 77%.
So now, okay, so it says here the THC is 8.45
Correct.
per package, which is in your bottles is what? Is a 1 ounce?
1 ounce,
And is that about what people want to see for?
So
as far as keeping the levels, because basically we don't want anybody to, if they ever have to take a drug test, they're not going to,
correct,
test hot or test positive.
Yeah. So drug tests there's a threshold. I mean, we're in California. You're walking down the street. You're going to get some THC in your lungs.
That's different. I'm just saying for everybody else who doesn't live in the...
Well, if you live in a box somewhere, yeah. If you live in a state that doesn't have cannabis, or you don't go to concerts, or you don't have a neighbor, but yes.
If you're a politician.
Yes. So basically, it really just comes down, the milligrams, and there's a threshold when you take a workplace drug screen. And what we've never failed a drug test. We test our staff. We work with cops and firefighters and judges and teachers.
Do you guys test your staff just to fuck with them?
No. We do it just for this. And we actually haven't had anyone come back positive on THC. That just happens to be what it is. But part of the test is you need to make sure you're not, if you're smoking THC, then you're not part of the test. So, but there's a threshold. So ours is, by law, it has to be less than 0.3%, right? And right. I mean, it is trace. Ours ranges, from 0.005 to, 0.02. And so it's very, 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 very low. But again, we don't want to eliminate the THC. Why? Because now you've gone from full spectrum to broad spectrum, which is a new fun term they're using. You don't want to manipulate the plant. You just want to keep it the way it is. Now, there are some rumors out there. There's a company out of Kentucky that has grown the first, hemp cannabis plant that has 0 THC tested. So I'm curious. I've heard some whispers. I'm going to get my hands on it and check it out. Again, we are going to come out with a product line that has 0 THC. That's on our schedule to do this year. Not because we want to eliminate THC, because we don't. We love THCA. The THC, the psychoactive component for our baby boomer generation that really loves us. We want to just kind of not let that be a concern. So when that particular plant comes out, we're gonna check it out and see what it's all about, and then produce a line that has 0 THC, so no one has any concern, because there are people that are concerned.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I passed along some that you had given me to a friend of mine, and she's older.
Yeah,
and that was her big concern, man. And she, the vibe she gave me was that she really didn't take it because she had that thing in the back of her head. Oh, well, it's got a little bit of THC. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make me feel anything. It's not going to react because I'm really sensitive, she kept saying. I was like, I mean, no, it shouldn't, but...
Mind over matter is powerful.
I don't want to say no 100% because fuck, you never know, man.
Well, I mean, we've had plenty of, a handful of people that have come in and swore that they were
lit like a Christmas tree.
Oh my God. But that just again shows the power of the brain. If you tell the brain something vividly, focus on it, the brain will be like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do, and it'll create that sensation for you, man. It's some call it the placebo effect, others call it mind over matter. That brain of ours, very underrated. It'll do what you tell it to do if you focus hard enough. And so if you see some of the Netflix documentaries out there, Heal or Weed the People, talking about how powerful that brain really is. So no, you can't get high on trace elements of THC, especially when they're raw. Like I said, these are here so people can analyze and say, yes, how you can tell is by dividing the total THC by the total CBD or the total cannabinoids. As you see in our package here, it's 613 total cannabinoids. And then you can take that 15.41 on our COA that's on the website, divide that 15.41 into 613.05, and you'll get that 0.02 THC. So you'll know, okay, it's just absolutely trace amounts. And
I'm going to play this back later and do that math.
Do the math. Yeah. It comes out to and I have a calculator here, I can show it to you. It'll come out to those numbers. And like I said, we're going to come out with a product line down the road that has no THC, but we're only going to do it when we're growing the plant and believe in the genetics, that we're not manipulating in the extraction process. That's just the way that particular strain is constructed.
A couple of other things I want to go over 2 terpenes here that are in this report. One is the beta-caryophyllene. The reason I want to talk about that is because he just did the math on his calculator and showed me.
Yeah. 0.025.
0.025. Okay. But back to the beta-caryophyllene. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of how beta-caryophyllene affects THC. Is that the fact that it kind of slides in between THC and the receptor and helps lessen the intoxicated feeling. I'm not going to tell you it's going to sober you up, but it'll kind of help pull you back a little bit. Which is why, once again, why CBD oil is really good for if you've had too much. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah,
but,
some people don't know what that means.
But you can. It's possible. Yeah. And the other terpene is myrcene. Mm-hmm. And myrcene is one of the big terpenes that are different from, that make sativa and indica as far as THC strains so different. Mm-hmm. Because the level of myrcene is usually higher in indica plants. And myrcene gives us that sleepy feeling. It gives us that very mellow feeling. It's the same terpene that's in hops, mm-hmm. which is why, like we were talking about, why beer makes us feel kind of the same way, a little sleepy, mm-hmm. So... yeah, that was it, really. I had no point to that. I just wanted to talk about beta-caryophyllene.
There it is. It's there. Those are the top 2 terpenes that tested out.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to hit upon why CBD oil is just good for, if your aunt calls you and she's freaking out because she's had too much brownies. Yep. Hopefully you've got some CBD oil to give her, because if not... yeah. Well, or that, you can tell her to suck on a peppercorn.
There you go. Yep, I've heard that. Yeah. And my thing, too, is... and educating the dispensaries and the bud tenders. We obviously have 3 up here in Ojai, and we worked with them, and there's some smart people there, but it's just a matter of just educating, like, look, if grandma walks into the dispensary, grandma says she has pain. I mean, I know there's some hip grandmas out there that are, down to, blaze up. But for grandmas just walking in and hadn't smoked since the 70s, or the 60s, then chances are grandma's not looking to get into some dabbing. So let's just let's pump the brakes, and what might be a low 1-to-1 brownie for you or chocolate might be super duper intense Hunter S. Thompson type experience for grandma. So I always recommend start with the highest possible ratio, at least 10-to-1, if not 20-to-1. I know there's some AC/DC strains out there. 20-to-1. That's going to be low THC. 10-to-1's usually right around where people start to feel the effects. And I know a lot of experience and stories I've heard is many bud tenders will say 1-to-1 is fine. And I've even heard doctors say that.
You may feel 1-to-1. Yeah. Some people will feel
I know. I don't think I disagree with 1-to-1.
Some people will feel 1-to-1.
I think 1-to-1's strong. I've had some 1-to-1 chocolate, and I felt it.
Because once again, I mean, the CBD will lessen, let's say it'll dampen that intoxicating effect. But a nice, strong, good strain of CBD is going to push of THC is going to push right past that.
I agree.
You're going to, that's the whole reason why I take a 1-to-1 is because I want a little bit of that fucking euphoria in it. Yeah. No, and I think 1-to-1's a good place to get to eventually. I wouldn't start there. No, I'd fucking a little higher, man. Like an 18-to-1, something that they're not going to feel.
20-to-1, 10-to-1, as high as you can.
Yeah, that might scare people off, dude.
It happens all the time. We hear the stories all the time.
That'll knock people off of not just cannabis in general.
It happens. But the crazy thing is that the people are in so much pain that they'll end up here their next visit, tell us the story about their psychedelic trip.
And they'd be like, I don't want anything in it, man. Yeah. I don't even want that 0.02.
Yeah. But my overall point is, bud tenders out there, it's even an opportunity to upsell. Not that should be a point, but have them get a little antidote, little CBD to go with it.
So are your products in dispensaries at all?
So California made a rule, the California Control Board, Cannabis Board, has made it not legal as of today for hemp-derived CBD to be in the dispensaries.
What?
Yeah.
What's the rationale there? Why? What do we?
They want control of all the cannabinoids. That's another issue that we're working with at the California Hemp Council. They want control over all of it.
What do you mean?
And so,
what do you mean control over cannabinoids?
Control over CBD in California. They want control over all of cannabinoid medicine in California. They want everything to go through them. And which is, way oversight, it's like, wait a second, we're not talking about marijuana cannabis, THC cannabis. We're talking about hemp cannabis, so it's a completely different lane. So that's another thing we're working with them to say, come on, you have your recreational, your medicinal cannabis users, and then hemp-derived CBD is a completely different ballgame. Stay away.
So now, so I wonder, do you get pushback from dispensaries or regular cannabis or just THC cannabis companies because you're still a cannabinoid?
We don't get pushback. Like I said, we can't stock our products in dispensaries, and that's not really our ideal place to put our product. We're very sensitive to our brand and where we are. Like, we wouldn't put our product in CVS. We wouldn't put our product in Walmart. It's just not who our brand is. You would find us in Sprouts. You would find us in Trader Joe's.
Are you guys in Sprouts and Trader Joe's?
We're in the process, yeah. Oh. Sprouts hasn't put any on here, and every store is a little bit different. Trader Joe's, some are independently owned for Sprouts, some are independently owned for Trader Joe's. So, but yeah, we are in the process of being in those. And we're identifying the companies that we want to work with. There's some big distributor companies out there that we're also working with. Again, we just don't want to wind up on like Walmart shelf. We want to be able to have control over where our product shows up. And we want, we have a retail experience and we have a online experience. When you come into our store, it's more like walking into the 1950s with one of those old family doctors. You sit down. I think some of those chairs are from the 1950s. And we're going to sit and talk and ask questions about your diet and how you feel, what's going on, where you got here, what's your exercise, what's your water intake, just real basic, simple things, getting away from processed foods, maybe eliminating some of the meat out of your diet, get to more high alkaline, and just real common sense things that we seem to practice a lot more in the 1950s, and we didn't have pesticides back then either, not nearly as prevalent, and just some real basic things.
Hey, so do you know anywhere on the internet, and I asked you about this before the show, of places or websites that compare CBD products, whether on the local level?
There's a couple that we've come across that we, and we're here in my office. If you hear the phone ring in the background, people never stop calling. We're not even open yet. And so...
you guys open on Saturdays?
Yeah, we open at 11. So it's 10 till.
Oh.
But it doesn't stop people from calling, which is great. Call, leave a message. We'll get back to you. So there's a couple sites out there that I've come across that we've started the process with because we think they seem legit. But again, remember, there's a lot of companies out there that are smart, SEO marketing, internet online marketing, that are posing as a review place, but they always seem to push one or two products, which if you dig deeper, it's just a way to market themselves.
That's the thing we keep bumping up against, is wait, who's paying for this?
Yeah, and again, it comes down to your lab-tested results and your own experience. I mean, look, this is a cannabis plant. We all know we have our own strains that we like. We all know that we have our the ratios that we like, the terpenes that we like. So you're gonna have to just kind of play with it and try different products and identify with brands that represent you and what you stand for. We're the farmers market type. We're the fresh, local, organic, raw CBD type company, and we're not for everybody. I mean, some people are going to have different priorities in what they're looking for, right? Some people are going to want, just give me the cheapest I can possibly find. CBD is CBD, and that's their belief system, and they think it's all gas is the same, regardless of the the price or regardless of the octane. So, but again, try different products. Make sure that you do your homework on the company, that they've done all of the right testing, and that you feel comfortable with them, and you identify with them, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot more CBD companies and a lot more options coming soon.
Sure, man.
So just make sure you do your homework.
All right, now let's switch gears a little bit, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the raw CBD fest coming up.
Well, I like how you say it better. The Raw CBD Festival. That gets me in the mood.
Festival coming up, man.
Yeah, so, with the motivation about it was, obviously, we live in this beautiful Ventura Beach community and Ojai, just up the street. And it's summer, and the sun's out today. It's been a little gloomy. We get a little June gloom every once in a while. And we just want to get together. The motivation was the dogs, 4th of July. They're not very patriotic dogs. Dogs can't stand fireworks, right? So we wanted to give away some free CBD bacon oil and just bring awareness to that there's a solution.
Is it bacon oil or bacon bit?
I thought that might come up. So we might do both. I mean, I cook bacon. It's bacon oil. Because
I can walk around that just with eating bacon bits the whole day, man.
I'll probably have some actual bacon treats to give out for free with CBD in it. But no, we have a 600 milligram and a 300 milligram raw CBD oil for pets, specifically the bacon's for the dogs and the salmon's for the cats. We seem to, and the funny thing is dogs are our number one customer. Man, they love our product because, again, the dogs don't have the conscious or subconscious mind to screw things up. When they feel better, they put pressure on it.
Yeah.
When they feel better, they don't bark, they sleep.
Yeah.
So again, they have usually the same type of the top 4, which is, pain number 1, anxiety number 2, sleep number 3, and then cancer's number 4.
I had Dr. Eileen Gillen on a few weeks ago.
Oh,
she was telling me how, just dogs really respond to CBD, man. Yeah.
They do. I mean, I'm not kidding. I believe they are our number one customer. I mean, really? They don't tell us so much as their owners tell us, but again, the dogs are very intuitive. When they feel better, they put pressure on their paws. We actually just put something up on Instagram yesterday. One of our wholesalers had the same experience where a dog had hurt its paw and taken our product for a day or two, started putting all the weight back on it, and was healthy as a horse. So
what else is going to happen at this festival?
Sorry, I digress. No. We're just going to have music. We're going to have free hemp shakes. We're going to have just some education, some giveaways. We're just going to hang out on the beach. It's going to be from 12 high noon on June 29th at Pier Shoals, which is right by Muscle Shoals by the Cliff House. There's a public beach out there. Just pull up, park your car, get a grab bag. We're just going to have some good conversation. There's going to be a lot. We call ourselves the Raw CBDers, or the merry band of hempsters. And we're just going to hang out and have some good conversation, have some good food. There'll be some organic hot dogs, and I'm a bit of a grill master myself. And so we'll probably have some CBD dipping sauce. That's a bold
statement, grill master.
I'm not afraid. Trust me. I've entered competitions. And I don't know. I've done, barbecue sauce with CBD infused on the ribs, and I've done all kinds of fun stuff. I don't know what I can get into that day. I might have my hands full, but we're definitely going to have some grillables. We're going to have some refreshments. We're going to have, like I said, hemp shakes and products testing and giveaways. And again, it's just to celebrate the plant, to celebrate the movement, to celebrate. We were just at Hemp History Week this week down in San Diego. With Dr. Bonner and Doug Fine and Joe Hickey.
What was Hemp History Week?
So Hemp History Week started 10 weeks ago. We just started celebrating the plant. Thomas Jefferson grew and George Washington grew and all that good stuff. Hemp.
Oh, that's a new thing. We're starting as Hemp History.
Well, we had to start it because people forgot about it.
I thought it was an ongoing thing. Like, I missed that. That's a thing?
Yeah, so every week, this week was June 3rd to June 9th, we celebrate Hemp History Week. It was put on by the HIA, Hemp Industries Association. And just a bunch of cool cats got together, and we celebrated, gave out some awards. Dr. Bonner, who we all know with Bonner's soaps, and he was there, gave a nice speech. And Joe Hickey was there. Their hemp seeds made it into space and came back this week. So they're going to see what kind of testing, what happened to space and cannabis.
They're going to sprout them and see what they.
Yeah. I told them, save one for me, man. I want to turn it into an oil or put it in the salad.
That's pretty good marketing right there.
Hey, they're no dummies.
This hemp went to space.
Well, Joe Hickey was the one who was with Woody Harrelson and came up with the idea to plant the 4 or 5 seeds to get Woody arrested.
Oh, right.
That was Joe out of Kentucky. And so, anyways, we just get together and celebrate, and everyone's excited, and there's still going to be some the fight's not over, and there's a big stigma out there that might take us 3 or 4 or 5 years to really make some headway. But again, doing podcasts like yours, and you do such a great job of educating, and I appreciate all you've done.
Oh, thank you.
We love to align with you, and you do a great job, and keeping current affairs throughout the country and the different states, and obviously you're amazing with farming and keeping it raw, keeping it natural, doing it the right way. It's all about education. You know what I mean? And some people. Here's one little tidbit I'll give you. If you want to know which company to maybe start going with or trying when it comes to anything cannabis related, is ask them how they got into the industry. Ask them their story. And if they start with education, and if they start with, doing it in a way to help educate people and align with and solve a problem, those are the companies you probably should work with. If they're starting about the specifics of the plant, or the specifics of, the name of the plant, then, maybe they're not in it for all the right reasons. And hey, there's nothing wrong with having a good, small business or a good business here in America. But, if you find someone, and especially in the CBD industry, that's all about education, that's all about, really trying to help people, that's usually a good place to understand that you made a good first step.
That's pretty good advice, man. That's a pretty good...
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm here to help.
Hey, so how is hemp farming in California? What is that like?
Well, I mean, I want to get all your expertise, and it's on my checklist of things to do this year, is because I've seen all the articles you've written and the blogs on your website about, the different, bugs and all that great stuff that you talk about. Just doing farming, old school, natural, no pesticides. We don't need them. USDA passed the bill here in California that is allowing us to all you farmers out there, apply, man, right now. It's $900 a county. Some of us, ain't gonna break the bank. Just get out there, apply. We always recommend doing,
What are they applying for?
You're getting a hemp California license to grow.
That's all.
$900 in an application. You need to show them a couple things. Where's your plant? Show that your seeds are tested and that they're going to be less than 0.3 THC. But it's on like Donkey Kong. So,
but is that $900? Does that cover a certain size acreage, or that's just $900 and go wild
per county?
Wow.
Yeah. So you get started, and there's going to be a little paperwork you got to fill out, and you probably have to meet with the county agricultural commission, but. Get started. And I would recommend, like I've talked about before, we're hoping we get 3 outdoor grows a year, man. We're going to dominate this space. Yeah. Canada ain't doing that. I mean, they're a few years ahead of us and they're kicking ass, but
but all their stuff's grown indoors, man. They got to pay for all that.
Yeah.
They got to recreate nature inside.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. I mean, this is going to be such an economic boom for our country and the world, and there's no reason to be growing it over in China. They've already figured out how to get ahead on the curve on that. We need to do it here. We need to do it right. The textile industries, the concrete, the paper, the clothing, you can make gas out of it. We can make oils out of this. And those oils can actually make plastic. So we can actually grow a plant and as a byproduct of the plant make plastic. And that's why this plant went away in 1937, guys. Because DuPont said, "Hey, man, these guys are going to screw with my fossil fuel oil here. Let's confuse it with marijuana. Let's write Reefer Madness and confuse it." And that's why it's been gone for 75 years.
So, but how do we keep? I mean, once cannabis in general just goes federally legal, now how do we keep that cultivation industry here, though? That's the big trick, right? We were just talking about that. There's a lot of equatorial countries, South America.
Yep, Colombia. Colombia's big.
Do we unionize? Is that
help? I don't have the answers on that one. We are in a global economy now. There's no doubt about it. We are a global economy, and we have to stick to what we're good at, right? Americans, we're great. With really figuring out how to make something happen or come up with the idea. So we're going to have to, and that's why there's no time to be wasted. We need to get seeds in the ground. We need to start, making some mistakes and learning from our mistakes in the farming side. We're going to start making some amazing genetic discoveries. Like I talked about before, they're already growing hemp plants, CBD plants, cannabis plants, all the same thing with no THC. So we have already seen through research that we're going to have these plants that grow with like one big nug on top, right? And it's going to be the stalks meant for the textiles, and the nug up top's going to have all CBG or CBC. You know what I mean? We're smart. Sometimes we're too smart for our own good. You know, that's what kind of happened with the whole pharmaceutical model. But we're going to figure out the genetics. And hopefully we do that here in our country, and we don't go too far with it. We still keep the plant as close to what it resembles now. Again, the cool thing about us being underground for 75 years because of that crazy 1937 bill is that there is no GMOs right now with any cannabis or hemp specifically. There's no pesticides that are allowed to be used on hemp or, right now because it's so new. So, and with all your farming techniques that you're expert in, this is a chance for the farmer to really learn how to do it right. And hemp doesn't need pesticides. It has the terpenes. It has people can use it as, crop, sharing, where you grow 1 year or you put some hemp right next to it, grow it within the crops. We've even seen to keep away the bugs and the pests and all the things out there. So, it's just an exciting time, man. Get out there and plant. Let me know of whatever I can do to help. I'll point you in the right directions for seeds, or, Alex can help. Whatever help you need, we're here to help.
Right on, Justin. Well, brother, I want to thank you for your time, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, man. Anytime.
Do me a favor, tell everybody how they can find you and 101 CBD.
Just go to 101cbd.org. Website's there. Check us out. You can give us a call at 805-642-5623 or drop us an email, just the general info at 101cbd.org. And any questions, anything we can do to help. We also sell bulk. We sell wholesale. Any questions? We've helped so many businesses get into the industry just because with our raw, full spectrum, true full spectrum, 113 cannabinoids, people are starting their own lines of bath bombs and all kinds of things.
What do you mean you guys sell bulk?
So we sell the actual bulk product, just the pure CBD, and you make your own products out of it. So a lot of companies will come to us and say, "Hey, we love your product, and we've heard you guys have the best. So we want to do a body butter, or we want to do a bath bomb, or we want to do candles, or we want to do, shaving cream."
So are you partnered with growers, or do you have your own?
We partnered with growers. We were actually lucky enough to be one of the first two companies that grew California hemp with an MOU, and we were able to get ahead of the curve before even the USDA passed it. So, yeah, we actually have California hemp. We were the first ones out there that I know went from farm to shelf with California hemp, and there's going to be a ton more here in the next couple months. So, are CBD products pretty easy to bring to market as far as? Easy, yeah. You could screw it up, and you could go home and use your coffee maker to do some ethanol extraction put it in a bottle.
No, what I mean is, are there as many restrictions to bring those?
Not right now. So
bring those products to market.
There's not a lot of restrictions right now. I mean, just like if you wanted to sell, what's the big popular supplement right now? Turmeric.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not hard, right? But eventually there's going to be lots and lots of regulations once the regulators have time to write the rules. So, right now you obviously could, come to market relatively easy, but there's so many companies out there right now. My best advice to you is if you're thinking about how can I get into the CBD industry, would be to align with a company that really knows what they're talking about, that really has a great product, that you've tried their product and you love their product, and they're willing to educate you and give you the support. Because at this point, the shotgun's already gone off. The people are out there racing out there to claim their space. So you're going to need some assistance to help you claim your territory. And there's plenty of territory. Like we talked about earlier, we see the cannabis industry going into different channels like wine or beer. There's going to be, a local presence, like you were saying. There's going to be certain people that want, there's going to be certain price points, and there's going to be certain brands that they want to identify with. So, this is a great industry. The healing is amazing, the stories that you're here. So we welcome everybody. Any questions you have, you want to get in, give us a call. We've helped, dozens of companies get started. And, we'll help you too and give you some good education. And we'd rather have people starting in this industry with a good head full of education and starting for the right reasons than just looking at, this is the new and latest, greatest craze to make some money and then move on to the next thing. This is a lot more than about making money. This is about healing the world.
Yeah, man. Thanks again.
You bet, man. Anytime.
Awesome. Yeah.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Hang tight, everybody.
Trouble. Why can't you let me be?
All right, and I'm back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed listening to that. Like I said earlier, I love hanging out with that guy. Thank you again, Justin, for getting on the show, man, and talking to us. Well, brothers and sisters, that's all I've got for you today. If you have a question or a comment about this episode, please send us an email at inmygrow@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at inmygrow, and at Cannabis you can find me at Alex Robles. Yeah, I think so. Now, if this show has entertained you, educated you, or even given you a little escape from your day, do me a favor, go over to patreon.com/inmygrowshow and leave a donation. Or go over to inmygrow.com, hit the support the show tab, buy a t-shirt. Or before you go over to Amazon, click on the Amazon link in the show notes of this episode so they know that we sent you and the show gets a commission. Now, those funds just help me keep the show going. They help me pay for different hosting fees. They help me buy equipment. So if you can, help the show out a little bit with some money. But now, if you can't support the show financially, don't worry about it, man. I get it. Here's how you can help. Subscribe to the website, subscribe to the podcast, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then tell 3 other people about the show. Really simple, really easy. Well, brothers and sisters, I am going to get out of here. I'm going to go do the puff and paint that Happy Tree Art class is putting on. You know that I love you all very much. And remember to always grow, learn, and teach.
My man was wanted, there were no he-men left. I had to satisfy my soul with a freakish yes, I've got trouble. Holding this man of mine. Seems there's always trouble every time that I speak my mind. He called me up this morning from the county jail. He said, "Quick, you frantic female, come down here and collect my bill. I've got trouble, holding this man of mine. Seems there's trouble every time that I speak my mind. He's got a head like a monkey. He looks just like a bear. A mouth full of tobacco, squirting it everywhere. But he's my daddy. Lord knows I love him just the same. My mama done told me name. Baba did, Baba ubuti balap. It ba aba uba it ba aba baba did. I've got trouble holding this man of mine. Say it seems there's trouble every time I speak my mind.